Hello everybody. I decided to leave my best lap on from the Tokyo Expressway for dramatic effect. Don't know if it worked. Trying a new thing for this stream. My live chat stuff is in a different window, so that means I have to look down a little bit to see where that is. Anyway, today I wanted to talk about excuse me, the GT Academy, and also do some daily racing with the Lamborghini. Usually I hate the Lamborghini, I hate these mid-engine cars in the game, but I made some discoveries about 1.5 weeks ago after watching TRL Lightning do some laps in Singapore. No, sorry, in Sao Paulo, and I felt like I should also give it a try. So I made some pretty interesting discoveries that I will share with you guys. And it's just a completely different style to what we're used to in the game. So we're going to go through that, and then I don't know if some of you saw the news of Luca Ordonez. I don't know how to say his name properly. He was the first GT Academy winner, and he's now left Nissan and is sort of looking for a drive somewhere. Hey VP, what's happening, Leon? All good? Thanks for joining in. I think it's the first time you've commented. It's a legend. So VP is one of the fastest Gran Turismo guys at the moment from Europe, without question. You will definitely see him at a world final next year. Right, so I think it was 10 years ago that Lucas won the GT Academy, 2007 if I'm correct. And then he went on to become a Nissan factory driver, which is pretty awesome. But a lot of guys who won before him didn't get to stay that long, and many people wonder why. You think that you win the GT Academy and then you are destined for greatness and that's it. You'll be a racing driver for the rest of your life. But that is not the case. And the reason is, there's a massive misunderstanding of how much it costs to go racing and who pays those bills. So even in the case of the Nissan factory team, they did have some privateers who were paying some of the budget, or at least some of the budget. I can't say for sure how much, and that was allowing the team to continue to run. Now, in some cases, when you had a new GT Academy driver join the team, that first season was paid by PlayStation Europe, or in South Africa or Brazil, whatever the country that they qualified from. That division of that PlayStation division usually committed the budget. So a big reason why South Africa has never partaken in any of this is because the budget for a season for the whole kart, let's say to do Blancpain Endurance, the whole budget for Nissan GTR is in the region of 600 to 800,000 euros. That's to do the season properly with with enough testing and enough tires, etc. Now I'm not sure if each region was sharing the budget for the new GT Academy winners. But I know for sure that, for example, a country like South Africa, it could never afford to do such a thing. So in many instances, like when I tried to qualify in 2008, I think, I finished 4th overall in the world in terms of lap times. But I never got the ticket because South Africa wasn't going to pay for one of their drivers to be there. Luca was actually in a rare position where, okay, yes, Spain or Europe managed to cover his GT Academy budget, and because he was the first guy, he was obviously getting covered as well by Gran Turismo. But what was unique about him, and also Jan Mardenborough, is that they genuinely had a lot of real-life ability and talent, and behaved very much as professionals. So when they got in the cars and started to do well, they had enough speed to catch the attention of of the factory and actually get proper factory contracts. A lot of the time, the GT Academy winners, they don't actually get Nissan contracts, they get contracts with the team that's running them. I believe it was JRN or JRM. I can't say for sure. Apologies for that. A lot of racing teams have 3-letter acronyms. So, it's pretty sad to see Lucas going. I think that I've raced against him. I raced against him quite a few times now. Since 2016 I've basically been racing against Lucas. And he was between himself and Alex Buncombe, who is a brilliant driver. They were the ones generally doing the qualifying laps up until this year, where every driver was contributing to the overall qualifying time of the car. Even so, I think it was Luca who did the Super Pole lap this year at Spa 24 Hour. So you don't get that privilege unless you're absolutely damn fast. Now, many GT Academy winners, in my opinion, have an incredible skill on the game and genuinely do deserve their shot in the real world, but I think in many instances are unprepared for what the differences that they're faced with. And it's not just, for example, it's not just your fitness, it's things like only getting a few laps of practice, which I've covered before in this podcast before, well, not podcast but live stream. It's also things like okay, so there's fitness, but there's also the lack of track time. There's the long gaps in between races which you have to wait. Like, I mean, in Blancpain, between Spa 24 and the final race in Barcelona, you're waiting, I think 2 months. Let's see, August and then September. Yeah. So it's 60 days, no driving. You don't feel like a racing driver in that period, but you still have to keep your motivation up. There's the PR stuff. Most drivers at our level will do with pleasure, because we barely ever do it. It's not like in Formula 1 where you're bombarded with PR and advertising. But yeah, I just don't think that enough GT Academy winners were prepared enough. And you know, it would just take something like going to a kart track and doing some real kart races. Let's say that you won the GT Academy, okay, which obviously is now no longer in operation because they have the FIA races and all that, and I'll get onto that in a second. But anyway, you win the GT Academy events, like the qualifying rounds, and you get an invite. You then win the shootouts between your other countrymen, and then I think there's like a small period of time where you have to wait before, not driving very well in the game, a small period of time where you have to wait before you actually drive the real things. Now, in that period, I think from the moment that you win the online thing and you get the invite to the country finals, you should be doing whatever you can to race in real life, even if it means doing indoor karting. It's just a very different world when you're side by side with someone. And I'm not saying at all that virtual drivers don't have the skill sets. I believe I'm one of them. I am a virtual driver. The reason I came back to GT racing is because I never got the qualifying invite when I was one of the quickest GT Academy drivers in 2008. And I said to myself, well, I'm going to go there, and one of my biggest satisfactions is I'm going to get on that grid myself and prove to Gran Turismo that I don't have to win the GT Academy, and I'm going to beat their cars. And I did get that satisfaction. I had the satisfaction of overtaking the Nissan GT Academy car in Paul Ricard in 2016. And we'd had some pretty close races since then. But still, I took it from a different angle. I approached it very differently. I knew that if I arrived at those qualifying events, that I would be the most prepared driver there, because it's not just about being good in the digital world where we can do 10,000 laps. It also helps that you expose yourself to the real thing as much as possible. You know, you don't actually even need to go there and drive. You can just go to racing events, email teams, do whatever you can to get into the pit boxes, to see what's involved on a race weekend, so that you can remove and reduce some of the unknowns as much as possible. And that is one of the key things to being a good racing driver who's calm. You're calm when you've covered your bases and when you're prepared. And to be prepared means to reduce the unknowns. Am I fit enough? Well, go train until you are fit enough. Do I know the racing lines? Okay, we'll look at Google Maps and start to analyze the track using Google Maps, and you can take that even further. You can illustrate the track as well on a design application and start to draw racing lines. Do I know the gears? Well, Google online for the gear ratios that are used, you know? Well, not gear ratios, gear selections. In GT racing you can't change the gear ratios. And do all of these things to try and reduce the unknowns. And the same applies for once you qualify for the real thing. I mean, many of us, okay, I was lucky, I had karting, okay? But many winners, and those who even finished second or third, have never been to a racetrack before. They're just incredibly good at getting the best speed out of the car in the game, and maximum respect to them. But there's a reason why Luca and Jan Mardenborough were able to go another step. It wasn't that they had more talent than these other guys. I truly believe that they took themselves to another level in terms of preparation. Anyway, it's sad to see that Luca is no longer part of that setup, but I know that Alex Buncombe is also no longer part of it. And in my opinion, they both deserve to be on a racetrack, and I think that they will be. I don't think Lucas will be without a drive for long, and I know that Alex Buncombe is one of the most respected drivers on the grid. Okay, so there's my rant, well, not rant, but little insight into the GT Academy. Now let me just quickly look to read some of your comments. So Dylan, yeah, so my title is about, well, what I've been talking about now. Okay, so let's exit here. I haven't raced in 1.5 weeks. I haven't done any races at this daily race. I've only been focused on getting the best lap. I think I am in the top 10 now in Europe. Okay, I'm 7th. 53.0. There's a Japanese guy who's done a 52.8. I think it's in the Lamborghini. And here I'm P7, 53.5. So my mission this week was to get into the top 10 on one of the daily races in terms of lap times, because I feel like I've been neglecting that recently, and I just wanted to do better on that side. The racing is fun. I definitely learn a lot, but I was lacking on single lap pace. So yesterday I think I put in 500 kilometers of driving. I wish I had the ability like Mikel Hizel, like TRL Lightning. He is able to just extract a lap within, like a top 10 lap within 10 minutes. It's unbelievable, honestly. It's always taken me longer. So anyway, spent some time yesterday. Initially I was driving the Volkswagen, the Golf Vision GT, the GTI, and then today I said, what the hell, let me try this mid-engined oversteering machine, the Lamborghini. Now the one thing with this Lamborghini is it absolutely eats tires alive, so there's no guarantees that I'm going to win this race, and also all the power is at the top end, so fuel saving is also a massive disadvantage. So I'm not sure how this race is going to go, but let's give it a go anyway when we get inside, once the countdown has stopped. For now, I just wanted to talk to you guys quickly about the way to drive these mid-engined cars. Right, so in many instances in this game, the way to drive fast is to slam on the brakes. That's one thing. And as you slam on the brakes, you got to change gear, brake in a straight line for a couple of meters, and then start to turn in as soon as you can. Okay. Turns out, with the MR cars, the mid-engine cars, sorry, ME, what is it? It's MR, mid-engine rear-wheel drive. That is not the way you should be. That's not the way to extract lap time. If you gear down in these cars in this game too soon, you're gonna get snappy handling, snap oversteer, and all that. So the first thing that I learned with these cars is you got to change gear at the last possible moment. Don't do the classic Gran Turismo style of as you touch the brakes you're gearing down, which by the way doesn't work in real life. Either you're going to break your engine or the software won't let you. So in real life you can't just as you tap the brakes bang down a gear. Now these cars are particularly sensitive in the slower corners to oversteer. So what I've learned with these cars is I try go down the final 2 gears in the very slow corners. I try go down the gears at the last possible moment before the apex, and that just helps. First of all, I have stability going into the corner, and then I'm able to get rotation at the apex. They also don't like big steering inputs, which again is a strange quirk, because in GT3s in real life you really can put a lot of steering angle in. If you look at any of my onboard videos in the Ferrari, you'll see that there is actually quite a big steering ratio going in. So I don't know where they didn't really get that right in the game. But anyway, big steering angles in mid-engine cars in Gran Turismo is not going to work. You're going to get, again, that snappy sensation. And then the final thing that I've done, and I think I'm unique in doing this, but for me it definitely helps, is if you look at my brake balance, I'm all the way to the front, and that helps a lot with the stability of the car going into big braking zones. This track for me is definitely one of the better street tracks that Gran Turismo has created. I really enjoy driving around here, and when I spend enough time at it, the satisfaction of getting close to the walls but not touching them has been super fun. Anyway, 6 minutes to go. What I want to do is see how slow I'm going to be when I short shift, because I've watched some online videos of this race and I've come to realize that you have to pit on the 4th lap, sort of halfway through the 4th lap, stick on a new set of tires. By the way, the Huracan really eats tires. Whoa. And minimize fueling as much as you can, because you're going to be short shifting. It was really funny. I was watching Super GT last night and he ran out of fuel into the last corner fighting for the lead. Should watch his channel. It's just search Super GT on YouTube and you'll find some of his stuff. Okay, so what else can I tell you about this car? Why does the Lamborghini have a yellow windscreen? Can someone tell me that? I was going to use this angle to drive today, but I'm not really digging this yellow windscreen. Oh, that's the other thing with this track is they've actually got the track limits right for a change, unlike say A1 ring or Red Bull ring. Another thing that the mid-engine cars like is smooth transition between braking and throttle and vice versa. So mostly in this game when you brake, it's a very instant transition from throttle to braking. Like you brake like that, okay? But with these mid-engine cars, what's better is if you do a slightly smoother transition. I've slowed it down there to illustrate it. But there's an overlay between throttle and braking. And in real life, that is possible, but it's not the most fuel efficient way to drive. So we try to minimize that kind of driving, but in the game it definitely works. I do tend to use that kind of style in real life though, but only on the qualifying laps. In race laps, there is a bigger gap between my braking and I mean my power and my braking. But anyway, in this game, particularly with the mid-engine cars, if you can do a smooth transition between braking, power and braking, you will see a benefit in the stability going into corners. So I learned a lot of this first by watching TRL Lightning, and then obviously practicing it myself. I just said, you know what, I refuse to accept that I completely suck at this. Hey Roland, what's happening, man? Suck at driving these cars, because at the end of the day I should be good at driving all of them. Well, I shouldn't be good at anything, but I want to be good at driving. Okay, so braking just before the curb here. Changing down to second at the last minute. On the inside of these curbing areas, there's actually not a lot of grip. So you've got to be very, very, very gentle with the power with these cars. Ooh. So the oversteery nature of this particular car, the Lamborghini, is a benefit on this track, because you've got these sweeping corners which tend to fall away on the exit because of the cambers, which gives you understeer. But if you can get the car pointed straight enough at the apex on the bank turns, then you can get on the power sooner and you're not going to drive into a wall. So it tends to benefit the car on this track. This car is fast on this track because of that characteristic. Other tracks like Circuit Maggiore or Dragon Tail, it's not as easy to extract lap time, because you're just going to get this constant snapping. I mean, even through here I'm fighting the steering wheel. Unfortunately you can't see it because I don't have a camera set up yet, which I hope to do at some point. Okay, so let's just try some short shifting. Okay, off we go. I'm not pushing at all here. Aim is to somehow do a mid 55 or 56 without using too much fuel. It's going to be a massive challenge, this race, with this particular car. Well, first of all, it's going to be my first race in 2 weeks, so there's a very high possibility that I'll crash. But you know, it's all fun and games for you guys. What's happening, CRN? I would address you by your real name, mate, but I'm not sure what it is. But I've seen you around, and I appreciate you subscribing recently and leaving some comments. Big ups to everybody who's watching, actually. Massive thank you, because I recently hit 1,000 subscribers, which is actually an important milestone on YouTube. So super stoked with that, and it's all come from streaming. All this video game stuff, like my channel's grown from 300 subs to 1,000 subs in not that long a time. So big thank you to everyone who's tuned in and is watching. Okay. I should be focusing, but I'm actually now reading comments, which is a bad thing. In order to read the comments, I have to look completely away from the screen. That's another thing I plan on fixing in the new year. Looking down now. Okay. So first question is about Le Mans. I would really like to get to Le Mans next year. It's the whole reason I came back into racing. But unfortunately, well, fortunately and unfortunately, the team I raced for in 2000, obviously it was easier. The team I raced for in 2016 and 2017, Kessel Racing, they are racing in Le Mans next year, and they need a silver rank driver, and it could be me, but it's likely they're going to go with someone else. No fault of theirs, it's a fault of the customer. So, but yeah, So, I mean, to get to Le Mans is incredibly difficult, and I think a lot of people underestimate how good all the drivers on the grid are, because you have one particular class called GTE AM, so you think amateur drivers, but the truth is the worst driver in those cars is brilliant. They'll beat most of us, especially first-time drivers. So I'm gunning for that seat. Not guaranteed to get it though. Have I had a chance to test out the new 488 in Assetto Corsa? Ladies and gentlemen, super proud to announce that you can race as me in a racing game. Yesterday Assetto Corsa released a new update which includes the Ferrari 488 and the Budapest racetrack, and one of the highlights is that you can choose the Ronaldo racing car and David Perel. So that is pretty surreal, honestly. I am very much a gamer at heart, and to be able to race as me in a game is incredible. It's built into the game. You go there, you choose the Ferrari 488, you choose the green Ferrari from Ronaldo, and it says Rinat Salikov or David Perel. It's freaky. So, I haven't driven the game recently though, because I don't have a PC, otherwise I'd be streaming from a PC and you'd see a lot more Assetto Corsa action. But I'm hoping on getting a PC in the future, and I have driven the 488. I've tested with Assetto Corsa already because I gave them advice on the car, and in my opinion it's the most accurate depiction of the 488 Ferrari. So yeah, the audio they took from some of my onboards, and the braking sound they took from my onboards as well. Okay, I'm just gonna keep quiet for a little bit here, because, well, to beat GTP Twizzy would be great. Oh, I need to sneeze. But I have no idea what I'm doing. So let's just see how this plays out. I know that I have to pit somewhere around lap 4, and if I can do the undercuts, even better. Gonna play a lot with the oh god. I didn't expect him to brake so well. I think I braked too late. What would you say? Woo! Okay, so that was a brilliant start to the lap. I need to get into that slipstream, and the slipstream window is 1 second, and I'm 1.2 seconds behind, and they are in a massive slipstream train. So I need to just take the corners really fast, man, in order to get back into that toe. I'm expecting carnage here. Whoa, buddy. This is not a good start to my live stream, but usually I practice a race before showing you guys. Why are you forcing me there, buddy? Oh, it's carnage. Oh baby, it's carnage. And this car really does oversteer. It's a bit more difficult to drive the Lamborghini when you've got this kind of snappy characteristic. Okay, we keep pushing, as they say. This thing is going to eat its tires alive. But at least I've got a slipstream now. All that being said, I ate up a lot of fuel on just one lap there. We need a box with about 50% of fuel. I do really enjoy the rotation of this car at this track though. The way rotates around this harbour section is really satisfying, which is why I think it's so fast. Wow, it's just so much oversteer in this car. Okay, so we keep trying here. 80% fuel. It's very likely that I'm going to switch to the Volkswagen at some point, especially because when I'm short shifting, it's struggling to stay in the slipstream of the other cars. That being said, I got to get back into the top 5, a matter of pride here. Man, oh man, the rears are already going on this car. It's unbelievable, the tyre wear on this Lamborghini. So we've got high tyre wear and we've got high fuel consumption. Somehow kept it out the wall there. That guy kind of just let me pass, which I secretly anticipated that he was going to brake late, but I don't have a reason why. I had a feeling. Man, this car is just unbelievable. Too much oversteer. I need to drive much smoother if I'm going to get any kind of result here. 66% fuel, still got to do an entire lap. Okay, so, sorry I'm quiet, I'm pretending to concentrate here. Okay, this is the pit lap, ladies and gentlemen. I think someone just asked me what steering wheel I use. It is a Thrustmaster TGT, and full disclosure, it's sponsored by Thrustmaster. Oh, damn. Okay, heading down into the tunnel. Short shifting like crazy, but way down on fuel. Should be around 57%, but I'm at 53, so I'm gonna lose time in the pit stop. But hopefully someone goes along, because I know the undercut works. I can't tell if I lost time there or gained time. Obviously, let's keep in mind that I have to serve this penalty at some point. Let's try get to the Supra. Worry about that in a second. Seven seconds behind GTP Twizy, so we found some time there somewhere. I think I need to pick up the pace a little bit, make more of these soft tires. If this Volkswagen behind me passes me, I will let him go because I want his slipstream, but he better drive fast. Go, buddy. Go, 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 go. I regret making that mistake at the beginning. I also regret the use of this Lamborghini. Okay, so the verdict is I found some lap time because second is right in front of me. 42% fuel remaining. Any aggressive input with this car and you are sliding for days. "41 live viewers, thanks for tuning in." Getting our eye in here. Lap times at the moment not spectacular. I think I'm in the wrong car. That's my opinion. Okay, so the aim there is I wanted to get on the power as early as I could. Let's try and get the run. 33% fuel remaining. We're going to run out of fuel, I think, quite drastically. Yeah, 2 laps to go with 30% fuel remaining. Eek! Go, buddy, go. Cannot see a bloody thing through here. Trying to balance that throttle as much as possible. So I'm actually waiting as long as possible to get on the power. 25% fuel. If anyone has done this race, can you tell me what fuel you need for 1 lap? I think you need 20%. I wasn't meant to overtake him, but in my experience, it's best to save fuel, so you use the first mixture here, which is setting 1, which is rich. Use this initially, and then when you get into the top gear, when you've built up your top speed, then go to a leaner mix, and also lose your sports ranking. Hey, I don't blame you there, buddy. But why? Okay, so use the rich mixture to accelerate out of there. Here comes the oversteer. There it is. I think we're going to make it on fuel. We're going to make it on fuel, but it will be tight. And we're going to hopefully recover this podium, because I'm going to run as lean as possible. And oh no, the guy right behind us is closer than I thought. Okay, buddy, I'm literally using you as my petrol blanket, so I'm not going to overtake. I just want your slipstream. Did he lose concentration there or something? Oh, that was close. %5 fuel. No ways. No ways. Oh, just missed out on the podium. So frustrating. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Oh man, I can't believe it. Just missed out on the podium. Okay, so now I'm gonna switch to the Volkswagen because I hate losing. I hate losing. And I don't care if I'm using the car that it's going to end up, you know, the best car to win a race. Point is, I don't want to lose a race. So, first note, I was way off the pace there. Second note, fuel saving was okay. Third note, the car's a little bit too twitchy in race battles. So if you're on your own in the lead, on pole position, then you'll have nothing to worry about because you can drive smoothly. But as soon as you have to race against someone, you're going to have problems. Obviously I got a sports ranking whack. Okay, 54.6 versus 55.8. Not good. You know, in Gran Turismo, the one thing I struggle with the most, I don't mind races with tire wear. I really manage well in those ones. But the ones I really struggle with is fuel saving. So, I don't know how many fuel-saving races I've actually won in my time. This one is combining fuel-saving and tire wear, which is pretty rad. But I want to improve. So, okay, I think second was on the cards. If we had no crashes, GTP Twizzy was a little bit too quick for me. It is GTP Twizzy, right? That means he's a GT Planet user. I'm also a GT Planet member. Ciao Davide. Okay, so we're gonna crack open the Volkswagen here. I haven't even got a custom livery on this one, but let's give it a shot. See how we go. I've never had more than 30 people watching this, so to see the number 40 up there is actually pretty rad. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let me get some housekeeping out the way. I have a page on my website called Sim Racing, and that details the equipment that I'm using. So it's davidperrell.net/sim, and on that page you'll also find a link to my Patreon. And the reason I'm punting that is because there's a specific tier on there where if you become a member, I'll give you some grid tickets for my next Blancpain race. Obviously that you'd have to get there yourself, but if you're based in Europe, that's much easier, especially if you're based in the UK, because there's 2 Blancpain races in the UK next year. So if you join that tier, which is $50 I think, you'll also get a pair of grid tickets and a tour of my car at the track. But besides that, check out the sim racing page. I give also some tips on my warm-up that I do on a sim. Every single day I do a 15-minute warm-up before I start racing, and I usually don't do serious practice for more than 1.5 hours per day. So it's a 90-minute session, and I detail that on my page, davidperrell.net/sim. Full disclosure, there are some affiliate links on there, but that is how I'm going to keep this page running. So my ambition is that next year I will also be posting some real-life videos, some more of them actually. Things like the driver's eye onboards, those are my favorites. Not easy to get right because the GoPro tends to overexpose the camera quite a bit. The shot. So I need to get a new GoPro. GoPro, if you're listening, send my way. I will put a sticker on my helmet, you know. So I used this car quite a lot yesterday. I realized that gear changes were quite important, and like where you change gears. And I did a 53.8 with this car yesterday, but with the Lamborghini the potential is a very low 53, like 53.2, so it is a faster car over 1 lap, but I don't think the Lambo is fast enough in the race. So we're going to crack open this one, touch the white line there, here comes penalty. No penalty. I have posted a lap guide of this track with this car. It's on my YouTube page. It's the latest video there, and I give some tips about how to get around here. I feel like I need to rewatch it now because I don't remember exactly what gears I was using for 1 or 2 corners, because I spent some time in the Lambo today, so now I've forgotten my rhythm in this car. Anyway, I know that I brake just before 100. Try get as close to the curb as possible. Be gentle on the power as much as possible. And then changing at 6,750 revs, not 7,000. I honestly found that provided some lap time. I also remember this understeer, which the Lamborghini obviously does not suffer. I think this is the hardest corner on the track, the last corner. Excuse me. Okay, so now let's see if I can short shift and do a 54 by short shifting, because that's what Twizzy did. So you still got to drive fast, and this is the thing in this game, the engine speed when you're short shifting really does give me this impression that I'm going very slowly, and that's when I struggle to extract the most from this car, or any car on a fuel saving race. Okay, let's see how we go here. I wonder how many sportsmanship points are lost in that race. It felt like quite a lot. But this track is notorious for sportsmanship points, because if someone's got a slipstream behind you and they have nowhere to go through no fault of your own, like if you're taking your normal racing line and the guy's got some overspeed behind you and he bumps you, you're going to get nailed for sportsmanship. A sportsmanship ranking point, even though you were not guilty of anything. So just so you know, yesterday I was racing at rear brake balance 5, because this car does tend to understeer in the mid corner because of the differential. As soon as you get on the power in this car, you get understeer. Now, and on this track, the earlier you get on the power, the faster you are. So with more rear bias, I was able to get a bit more rotation going into the corner. However, for the race, I'm just going to leave it on brake balance 3. Emil, I don't have many setup tips because I haven't driven the latest installation or the latest patch for Assetto Corsa. I can tell you that you'll find a lot in the differential settings. So try an open differential and a tight differential. You want an open differential for sort of the high speed corners and a tight differential for the slow speed. And then you also want quite a lot of front bias. Okay, I'm talking, this is all real life references. And the rear springs, if you can, just run them on the softer side, because the car will have quite a stiff feeling in the game, and in my opinion it should be a little bit softer. I watched some YouTube videos last night. Where am I braking? I watched some YouTube videos last night, and a lot of guys were complaining about a lack of grip. I think that they were driving too fast. So rule number 1 is if you're missing apexes, it means you're going too fast, okay? So they were lacking a little bit of feeling, but the reason they were going too fast is because they were lacking feeling, and they were lacking feeling because, to me, the setup appears to be too stiff in the default setup. So you can run softer springs in real life, and that's what I would recommend doing in Assetto Corsa. No ETA on the PC because they're not cheap, but more importantly, I have to first get my new visas for the UK and Europe, and honestly those aren't cheap either. So my priority has to go to some real life stuff before I can get a PC, which is a shame because I'm desperate now. I really want to try Assetto Corsa. Website link is davidperrell.net/sim. I think I've been sent to the naughty box with my sportsmanship ranking. Let's see if I'm sub 90 here. I'll be pretty upset if I am. 92, so I lost 7 sportsmanship ranking points in the last race. ACC compared to real life is probably, in my opinion, the best illustration of what it's like to race in real life, or the feeling between the two, between sim and real world. In my opinion, these are all my opinions, people, but in my opinion, ACC has it better than iRacing, especially when it comes to the 488 Ferrari. I also gave a lot of tips for the 488. So they did work a lot on that, and I drove it twice. I drove it once at Misano, gave some feedback, and then again at Spa, gave some feedback. And the cool thing was that in Spa, when I drove it, I said I was going down towards Eau Rouge, and I said if I take Eau Rouge flat, if the game is right, I'm going to spin at the top and hit the wall backwards, and that is exactly what happened. So yes, you can take Eau Rouge flat in real life, but only on the qualifying lap with a low fuel and a new set of tires. It should not be easy flat. Now I guarantee you, when Gran Turismo launch or release the Spa Francorchamps racetrack, I guarantee you that you will be able to take Eau Rouge easy flat every single time with your eyes closed. And in real life, that is not the case. In real life, Eau Rouge is absolutely terrifying. Same with Blanchimont. In the games, easy flat. In real life, Blanchimont, the first time you go through there, you're braking, you're gearing down. It's absolutely terrifying. I mean this. For those of you who don't know, Blanchimont is the final high-speed left-hander before the chicane at the end of the lap of Spa. So I think Assetto Corsa have got it really good, and their track modeling is also very accurate. I emphasize this to them many times. I was not in any way involved with the track modeling, but every time I saw them, I made sure to point out that for me, the track modeling is the number one thing for a real racing driver, because we want to know that when we see a pole in the game, which we can use as a reference point, that pole needs to exist in real life. So they can't make things up, and the curbing that they use is also very important. So you can't. A lot of games, especially for example Project Cars and the Formula 1 game, the curbing that they have designed into the tracks doesn't match real life, which changes the way you approach a corner. And that's an area which Assetto Corsa has gotten really right. I also think that one of the kings of track modeling is Gran Turismo. I think they were the first ones to get it really right. Okay, so let me go quiet for a lap here, suss out this fuel saving situation. Got Magic Alonso. I've raced against him before. He's a pretty good driver. Gotta say, this car is much easier to drive in race conditions. So now that I'm in top gear, I go to the leaner setting. I'm going to promote Thrustmaster here because this is where the wheel is super useful. With the dials on the wheel, I'm able to easily change settings without much effort. I really do like that. It was one thing with the Fanatec which I wasn't a massive fan of. Magic Alonso steaming up behind me in a... What is that? Is that the Toyota? Yeah, it seems so. much happier with my driving in this one. So far, at least. And also easier to fuel save. So all in all, much more fun. GTP Twizzy was doing in the last race, for those of you who weren't watching. First of all, how dare you? Joking. Second of all, he was doing 54.8s. I just have to remember to pit in the middle of lap 4. Magic Alonso is much better than me through that final sector. But that was the sector I struggled with most when I was doing this yesterday. So I can spend a little bit of fuel getting away, but there's no point on the straights. I need to wait for them to make another mistake, and then I'll rev out the car, try and break the slipstream a little bit. Finnish driver is now in second place. He was driving quite aggressively compared to Alonso, and he is bang in the slipstream, but not quite close enough. The Volkswagen has the top speed advantage, and if you're not quite there... Okay, here he comes though. David, stop talking nonsense. Here he comes, and he's going to make a big move. This guy's in a rush. 3, 2, 1, braking. Tire management at the moment is pretty decent. Actually, if the rear tires in this car go off, it's actually beneficial because you get less understeer. I would like to do a better lap time though. 55.5, 7/10 off ideal. This guy behind me is actually super clean, so max respect to him. He did a 55.0 now, which seems to be target lap time. Just keeping in mind Twizzy 54.8 in the last one after pit stops. 52% fuel remaining. A little bit down on target. I may have touched the line there. Getting away with it, getting away with it. Got away with it. Okay, we keep pushing. Iron 1, no, I don't own a PC. When I moved to England, I had literally nothing. I sold everything to move to England to pursue my racing career. And the first thing I bought, besides a bed, was a PlayStation, which sat in the room I am in now, an empty room with no TV, no games, and no internet. Oh, we used way too much fuel. Way too much fuel. Come on, buddy. Now, if the other guy's short fueled, he did. That's to my benefit. More than happy for him to slipstream me along, provided I can see what the hell's going on. Oh, hello, understeer. Big understeer in the slipstream. Okay, but I know this car is super fast in a straight line. You just got to kind of get to 7th gear as quickly as you can. And then turn down, because I'm not going to overtake him here. Using again rich fuel mixture to accelerate. Oh, he really got on the power well there. He killed me on the power there. Now comes the long drag. So I just got to wait till I'm close enough and then lean her out to 6. It's not easy going through there when you're right behind someone. Can't see a damn thing. But if I can get side by side in those long corners, I am going to do it, but I'm not going to actually go for the move. I just want him to be offline. So I'm saving as much fuel as I can. It's almost unfair, the advantage you have in this car. I wasn't meant to overtake him there. Give me space, buddy. .3 laps of fuel remaining. Magic Alonso is coming at a serious rate, 54.8. Oh my god, that was so close to a penalty. Okay, I have to make my move now, so I think we have enough fuel to really push. So here we go. Okay, I've made my intentions clear. 1.4 laps of fuel remaining. He's going to have the slipstream, but hopefully not the fuel. So let's see what happens. I know I'm superior in the hairpin, but he's superior after the hairpin. I mean the harbour. Okay, so I got a bit of a jump there. But I didn't quite shake the slipstream. He's 8/10ths behind me. And he's going to get sucked right back in his last final moments. If he's saved enough fuel. 0.7 of a lap fuel remaining for me. Okay. If all goes according to plan, I should win this one. Unless I've lost count of laps. I'm pretty stoked with that win. That was patience and strategy that executed pretty well. Stoked! Pace wasn't mega, but really happy with that. Chris W, it's my pleasure. I hope you found it useful. I hope it helped you improve a little bit. Today I tried the Lamborghini, which is faster over one lap, but definitely not faster in the races. But yeah, definitely thanks for watching the video. Much appreciated. Kiran, it's a pleasure. Hope you find the information on the website useful, mate. Whew. Night Flight, thanks so much, man. Eon 1, yeah, that was epic. That was epic. I really enjoy this stuff. I enjoy this stuff just as much as I enjoy real racing. Real racing is so intense that sometimes it's difficult to have the enjoyment, but man, sim racing every day with the excuse that it makes me a better driver in the real world, which it does. I had a clean race at a street track. That's epic. Okay, guys, ladies and gentlemen, if there's any ladies watching, according to the stats it's only guys, thank you for watching. I am going to end the stream now. It's been almost 1.5 hours. I will be streaming again not tomorrow, either on the weekend or next Wednesday. But for those of you tuned in, much appreciated, and catch you on the next one.